Turning now to what's happening at a library leadership level in the UK, the Society of Chief Librarians, otherwise known as SCL, catchy title, we're the body that represents heads of library services in England, Wales and Northern Ireland, and we've been working at a national level, particularly within England, since 2013 to develop a series of universal offers around the 5 key areas of public library provision: reading, learning, information, digital and health, with a further offer around culture being launched shortly. Now, we've used the framework of the universal offers to enable us to develop national partnerships that can be levered for benefit at a local level, to advocate the reach and impact of public libraries, to lever more investment into service development, to drive innovation and aspiration, and to train our staff in the skills of a 21st century library service. Specifically in relation to the issue that we're talking about today, our universal information offer has been particularly successful in developing a clear sense of what the key issues are for supporting people to gain access to online services. So in 2014, over 80% of England's public library workforce, thousands of people, participated in online learning to develop their digital skills so they're better able to support library customers. And in 2016, just last year, SCL secured a place on the Government Digital Services Framework for Assisted Digital and Digital Inclusion Services. Very snappy title, I think you'll agree. That means that as individual government departments move their services online, they should use the framework to tender for support so that barriers around disability or literacy should not prevent people being able to access those services. At SCL, we work very hard to sign up the 151 different library services across England to this framework. That had never been done before. But the carrot for all library services was for the first time, library services might get paid for what they've previously been doing for free. Our universal learning offer has focused on developing the skills to help our staff shape a much more engaging, lively, dynamic digital offering. We've developed a resource called Code Green that encourages innovation around hackathons, Raspberry Pis, makerspaces, all sorts of engagement. And within the universal digital offer, SCL has pioneered a digital leadership programme supporting existing and up-and-coming leaders with the skills and confidence to lead in the digital space. Issues such as how library leaders should be shaping the marketplace in terms of procurement have been amongst the topics discussed by those digital leaders. And we've established a national innovation network so that best practice and ideas around digital services can be shared easily within the network. We've shaped an initiative called Access to Research with academic publishers so that people using our libraries have access to high quality, reams and reams of high quality academic research, which they previously could only access through a university, and they can do it for free in their local library. So there is much that SCL has progressed at a national level that's relevant to our discussions about data privacy. Much that could provide some of the building blocks that could help us take back the conversations from our study trip and make things happen. But I have to say that the issue of data privacy is not one that ranks highly on the list of library leaders today. Too often the brains of library leaders, people like myself leading a library service, Neil leading a library service, are preoccupied by austerity and the need to cut significant sums of money from the library budget. These discussions can become all-consuming and get in the way of broader and important discussions about the role and impact of libraries within communities. Other issues, just briefly to give you a flavour on that I think are pertinent in this space, relate to the changing governance structures within UK public libraries. So we're seeing increasingly that libraries are being handed over to volunteers and run by volunteers. What guidance and support are those volunteers being given around data privacy? I'm not sure that we know. And in organisations like my own, which are now operating as spin-outs from the local authority in pursuit of a much broader base of income, operating models from the commercial sector, will there be more of an expectation from our boards, from our funders, to look at how we commercialise our own data? More positively, how can we use our data to shape new services, using the techniques of the private sector to provide better, more targeted services for our existing and potential users, an issue that Carnegie picked up recently in its Shining a Light report on UK public libraries. Finally, there are reasons to be cheerful. We have some emerging good practice. We have Aude Charillon, who's here with us on this trip, who is almost single-handedly showing us some new possibilities. She's hosted crypto parties in Newcastle libraries and is gradually growing a public debate in her city about the potential of libraries around privacy. We're seeing a growing interest in open and big data, with services like my own being much more interested in sharing our data sets with others and overlaying them with other data sets, such as those around deprivation. We're doing it with an open mind. We don't know where it's going to take us, seeing what might come. But we're hoping, certainly in Devon, that the act of sharing our data itself will begin to open up new dialogues about the role that libraries play and the social impact that they create in communities. And at a national level, we have CILIP, our professional body, actively shaping this space and collaborating with Carnegie and others to push the agenda forward. So in summary, our experience in the UK tells us that our communities, particularly those who are most marginalised and potentially disenfranchised, are in need of support from us on this issue. We know too that our workforce are already responding positively to those needs and helping their users navigate sensitive issues around data privacy. We know that they need more practical support in terms of both training and privacy policies to provide a framework for that public engagement. As library leaders, we're confident that we have many of the building blocks in place through the universal offers and our national partnerships to take forward this agenda. And we know that we can tap into the expertise and support of national organisations like our professional body CILIP, the Carnegie Trust, and our other non-library colleagues on this trip who've much knowledge to share. I think the issue strikes at the heart of our professional DNA as librarians. It's what motivates most of us to keep working in libraries, that sense that we're here to ensure the access to information for everybody. And I know, speaking for my colleagues, I think from the UK, we really look forward to exciting new possibilities in our library policy and practice inspired by this trip.